Rabbi say, page Shin Chav Zayin. Page Shin Chav Zayin. Yeah. In the middle of learning the dinim of the ner for Havdoloh, what type of ner is allowed to use for the bracha beide me'ede heish. Sif Ches. Im mevarech an ora she'aved zara, she'also lahanis mitashmishi aved zara. The af haner hadolok lefaneh also lahanis loyri. We're not allowed to make a bracha on a light aved zara, even the light that was lit in front of the aved zara, not directly on the aved zara. You're not allowed to have benefits from it.
It's not obvious.
Even assuming it should be mutter, because the bracha is on the light. The light itself, it's not something tangible. Fire is not something you could carry, you could hold on to. It's not tangible. If shalheves imam mamish, ain isa vedazara chala b'fnei atzma. There should be no isa vedazara and something that's not no mamashas to it, not tangible.
The Pashtas, Silcha Sanhedrin, Silcha Avodah Zara, all these things they talk about Aish right through the thing. It's all no thing. And some of them are Chayit Misa, some not. I don't understand what is the Chiddush. It's ABC, mission after mission after mission.
About fire?
Yeah.
What does it say about fire there?
It does that someone who lights in Sanhedrin and Avodah Zara, someone who lights a fire and Avodah Zara and other things, or that thing, the person could be Chai Misa.
Because you're serving the Avodah Zara. Being an Isser Hana, when you have an Isser benefiting from something, it's only Chal and something that's Metzias. Avodah, when you bow down, there's no Metzias to it, you can't hold down to the bowing. When you're Oyved Avodah Zara, someone's Oyved Avodah Zara, so it doesn't make a difference. But when you say that something is us, so there has to be something. Well, what exactly is the flame? The flame flickers this, that. There's no existence to the flame as an existence for itself.
We just said right before, we said on Shabbos, a guy goes, lights for your fire, right? And it's on Shabbos, you can't use it for Havdoloh. Why is this different than that?
Right here. I don't know, it's a good question. Mikomakim calls man shall sheheves kishura hagechelo shaved zara. An entire time the flame is connected to the coal, also the hanas menamachos iser hagechelo shikshura. You can't have a benefit from it because of the coal. You're having benefit from the coal, which is connected. If you don't make a bracha in it, Av in Shabbos of a Shabbos, even if it was not lit on Shabbos, if that's an issue we spoke about last week, you're not allowed to use any ner, which Aveda was done with it, was lit on Shabbos. You only make a bracha on the that have enough from. We explained before, you need to have enough from the ner. You're supposed to look at the ner, stand there close enough to the ner that you should be able to have benefit from the light. So if you can't have benefit, you can't make a bracha on it. The bracha is connected to the hana. If you did make a bracha on it, so the chavarach al urachi, you need to make a bracha on another light in yeshlei if one has.
Mashmaish is if it's gas and there's no coal, whatever. Then every time it's consumed, it's a new thing. It should be mutter because it's not connected to that fire.
If the gas is not, it's not a tashmish of the zara itself. Yeah.
If the gas is not,
right. If someone took an independent piece of gas and so the guy brought it next to the Avodah Zara, so it's not really belongs to the Avodah Zara, and he turned it on, then you're right.
It's hard for me to understand You know this fire, together with that, with those Shroud, the Chachamim said you're allowed to use it. I don't understand.
You can't use the fire from the Avodah.
Just said yes.
No. You're saying a svara, maybe you could because it's just a shalheves. But we said the shalheves is connected to the gechelas.
So,
It's awesome. Avam yesh in Yisrael hidik ner mishaloi. Ah, here you have it. The case that you wanted to bring up. If a yid lit his own candle from the ner shel avodah zarah, mevarchen alav, you're allowed to make a bracha on it. You got a light from there. Shemot lahanas imenu af b'shehudlik b'shalheves shel avodah zarah shalheves ein b'mamish. You don't have the shalheves. You only have shalheves. You only got a flame. But the actual piece you don't have. The ner, the gechelis, remained in the cloister, and you have the flame you took from it. The flame is not an issue. Shall have his
No, but he's probably, I don't know if it says so, he's probably over for doing that. He got being the hana, which isn't a tangible material thing, of getting from the Avodah Zarah, even if it's not a physical hana, the Maisa doing it, that's the problem of what he did.
What's the problem with taking from the guy? You ask the guy, can I take a light from you? I need to make my. I want to make my bracha by Meiresh Havdoloh. You're allowed to.
Because you're getting
No hana.
You are getting hana. You got your cup. If it wasn't fat, you wouldn't have a flame.
But we don't consider that tangible.
No, I understand.
This is not chal.
I'm asking. I'm saying for Havdoloh, it's not a problem. I'm just wondering if Maisa itself, not the flame 100%. The Maisa itself, what he did. You're saying
then it would be a problem. If the Maisa itself would be problematic, then the herbs probably would be problematic.
No, because it's two separate things. That's what I'm trying to say. This is the material. The material flame has nothing to do with it. But the hana you got from starting it for yourself, I'm saying that's the problem.
It's not this type of hana is not considered. It's not that there's no hana. There's a hana. It's a hana, but hana she'im b'mamish. It's not a tangible hana. You know, someone smiles. It's a hana, but there's no tangible thing. It's not something you can grasp. The Torah, Kopan Lagabe Avodah Zarah did not put any issa in something which is not tangible. The Avodah Zarah does not. The issa of Avodah Zarah and the clip of Avodah Zarah does not chal in something which is not tangible. Something has to be tangible. We're going to explain the next sif. If a goy lit from the Avodah Zarah candle, you don't use it. And that's inside a gzeira, maybe you will come to use from the actual Avodah Zarah candle. Okay, that's going to give Avodah Zarah. Sif test. We spoke in Sif Zayin that if an Aveira was done with a ner, it was lit on Shabbos, b'shoygig, b'mezid, or even if a goy lit it on his own, it was lit on Shabbos, so it's considered a ner she'os neset by Aveira. Even though the goy is not b'chuyev in Shvisa Shabbos, and he's chayev misa if you keep Shabbos, but when you do something on Shabbos, it's called Malachas Aveira. But it's only us or oisei ner atzmei abel hidlik Yisrael menu ner achem etzoi Shabbos. If a yid lit from that ner, varchem lo ach sheyesh ben ner zeb oir meha ner arishin sheshavas mikol makeyesh beitei sefer shel heter. Even though this you have taken oil from the first one, which was done by Aveda, since now when you light from another candle, the candle it lights on its own, and it starts to add to its own light as it eats from the wick. So you're not making a bracha on that which you took from the ner iser. You're making a bracha on the additional part that was added on your candle. Now, what are you saying? That very ner itself that was lit on Shabbos, In Vorchen olav mitzoi Shabbos afilu lachas b'amruva shekanatoyis bei harbe herbs man het. Even on Matzah Shabbos, it's already later, and so there's already added more light to it. It's not the same light. We still don't light from that very light itself. Mishum gzeira shem yavayu levarech haor amad harishin al amad harishin shel haor shel Shabbos. Maybe you will come to make a bracha on right after Shabbos on the actual ner itself. And if it's a Shabbos miyaj, adayin lo yiteisu klum al amad harishin shedolak v'regel shelifnei yitzid Shabbos. You'll light it, make a bracha on it right when it hits Matzah Shabbos, before it had any time to add any more earth to it. Aber ner shehidlik imani Yisrael meitzoi Shabbos. Our ner which he lit from Matzah Shabbos, afil dikin tzoi Shabbos miyad ein ligzer. You don't make a gzeira. In that the levarach olav Shem yit levarach hanir shel Shabbos. Shestam ner shel Shabbos lehudav b'Shabbos ha'idei Yisrael ha'idei Nochri. And Goy's ner itself, you never make a bracha, even if it's late Matzah Shabbos. You don't make a bracha on al ner that was lit on Shabbos. Even if it's much later on Matzah Shabbos and the flame already grew, let's make a difference. Because you might come to use it the minute after Shabbos. But if a yid lit from that ner, we say it's okay. And we don't say maybe you'll make a mistake and make the bracha on the first fire, because we don't make gezerah from a yid to the goy. The goy's ner itself, we say okay, if you're going to use it Matzah Shabbos later, you'll come to use it right after Shabbos. And it didn't yet grow. It's still considered a ner amalechas aveda. But if a yid lit from that goy's ner, it's okay. We don't say that maybe the yid now you'll take from the goy's ner and use it right away with the Shabbos. Because a yid and the goy is two separate nations. So there's no gzeira.
How about a Jew who is not so careful about keeping the halachot of Shabbat? And lights fire before Shabbos is over. Can you light the Havdoloh candle from its fire?
I hear you.
Well, I'm asking you
I hear you. I hear your question. I'm thinking.
It's a good question.
It is. According to what he's saying, there's no gezerah on that either. You're not going to come to that problem.
No, but he was talking about it.
I understand, but according to the pshat, the reasoning behind it, it doesn't seem like it should be a problem. I'm just speaking, I'm not speaking for him, it's based on what he's saying.
Unless he does it b'mezid.
Even as I'm saying, even if he does it b'mezid, it doesn't seem like it should.
But
it should. 1 minute. Directly using it is always a problem, but to get a light from that, since it's based on a gezerah, and the gezerah is only put on a nachri, and the reason for the gezerah put on a nachri is you're going to come to directly use it.
I mean, I would think it's not. I would think it's not a problem because we don't make the gezerah by yidden.
Right.
We don't make the gezerah by yidden.
You gave the reason for the gezerah. It doesn't apply. You're not going to make that mistake.
Yeah. Chod.
I have a
Abel Nachri.
Yeah.
It's a complicated dinner, by the way. They're not so common. So, Abel Nachri shehidlik ner mitzvah Shabbos in Mevarchel. A guy lit. You know, it wasn't so common today because we all have gas stoves in the house, and everyone has a box of matches. You know, in those days it wasn't as easy. The concept of having a fire wasn't easy. People used to have fires running the whole time, and if the fire went out, you'd go to the neighbor to get a fire. They didn't even have matches. I don't know exactly what point matches became standardized, but they lived differently then.
They're
So they-
using the coal or wood.
Yeah, they would have something always burning in a fireplace, a lamp, something always burning. And if something went out, they go to the neighbor. Maybe they go to the guy, they go to the guy to get a light.
Yeah, there's no more pilot lights.
Now there's no more pilot lights, yeah. Aval Nachri shehidlik b'meitzoi Shabbos, a guy which lit a candle mitzvah Shabbos, a mevarach. What if a guy on his own he lit a cigarette on the Shabbos and you want to take a light from him for Havdoloh? Elim kain idlikim miso, you cannot use it unless he took his light from a yid. If the guy got it from a yid, you can take from him. What happens if the guy got it from another guy? Why? Very machar with this din. Exeda you might come to use from a guy who lit it on a Shabbos, that's Malachas Aveda, and not only that, you might come to use it Mitzvah Shabbos right away before it grew, so there was a Tesefes Heter that would be mutter. Because I was very machar with this din. If this yid, if the guy's ner came from a yid, even the yid got it from an achri, means originally the fire came from a guy Matzah Shabbos. Then a yid lit from it, and then a guy lit from that yid, and now a yid wants to take from that guy for Havdoloh. Kol sheyad hayisrael ba'emsa. Any time that there's a yid's hand is in the middle, we don't make any gzeda that someone will come to use the ner right away Matzah Shabbos. Kol shkenim yad yisrael b'tchilosei. If the yid is the first one to light it, that the yid is the one that created this light from sticks and stones on Matzah Shabbos, or you should be Shabbos, or used it from something like from Erev Shabbos. Maybe Cholim Shehuvam Erev Shabbos. Shevarach al Ner Shehiduk Anochim Menu. In that case, we always make a bracha on the ner, even if a guy took from the yid. So as long as it originates from a yid, or a yid took it over afterwards, even though a guy came later and took from the yid, you're getting it directly from the guy. As long as in the somewhere background there was a yid there, we don't make the gzeira. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, if you, the svara, if you understand the svara from why this gzeira was made, it makes perfect sense. That's what I'm saying. Why the gzeira? Because you'll make that mistake and everything else. All these things, it makes.
Very machmur with the din. Shash. Sif Yud. Im nachri hoitzi or mitzvah sham eitzim avadim. What happens if a guy he made a new light Matzah Shabbos, or he Shabbos, or used lights that were around from Erev Shabbos. From Erev Shabbos there were lights around. Or he took light from candles that were lit on Shabbos permissibly, like for a choila sheyesh besakana. It's mutter even for a yid to light.
Yeah.
You don't make a bracha on these lights themselves. If the guy lit another candle from it, then you do. Not sure why. In the parentheses, Alter Rebbe says that there's a sheet that says exact opposite. That the ner itself, this ner, you don't make a bracha on because Because the ner the goy lit might say Shabbos. It's not from a yid. But that ner itself that the goy lit Matzah Shabbos, a new light, they never were goyzer. And we should be concerned for both opinions. Al the Rebbe says, and a yid should light from that ner, not to make the bracha of the actual goy's ner. Okay, Sif Yud Aleph. If someone did light from a ner that a goy lit from another goy, you don't have to make another bracha. The issue over here is not in essence, just it's because of a decree. As well, a ner that was lit on a Shabbos be'isser. In Beidachal Meitzai Shabbos, made a bracha on Meitzai Shabbos la'acher shenitois v'erish l'heter. After the light of heter was added on it, she'eni surya mishum gzeira, it's only a gzeira, and maybe you'll use it right away when it's Meitzai Shabbos. So therefore, it's mutter if you did it b'diyav. Sifi beis nachem sheidakol neiva fneihem af b'shivdiku yisrael v'barachom shestam b'sbidachal b'gzara v'areizeh k'ner shal b'dazara. If there was a goyim sitting around together having a party, and they lit a candle in front of them, they wanted some light. Even if they took that light from a yid's house, you don't make a bracha on it, because when goyim are sitting together, there's no problem of a desire involved, especially those days. If you give him a chutz l'kach, someone was outside the city, and he sees light coming from the city. It's Matzah Shabbos. Can he make a bracha on the light that he's seen? If most of the city were goyim, don't make a bracha. It's probably the light of a goy, and he didn't light it from a yid's house. It's probably from a goy. Half of the majority of the city are yidin. If even 50-50. If there's enough light in the spot where he is standing, that coming from the city, that he can tell the difference between one currency and another currency, he can look at it and see the difference between two currencies, then he can make a bracha on that light.
It starts, he's going outside the village. He doesn't know this is 50% Jews, 50% Goyim. How he knows? He's traveling. He doesn't know we live here.
He knows Borough Park, Williamsburg, Crown Heights. He knows Flatbush. He knows here. In those days they didn't know.
Of course not.
They had no GPS.
He knew more.
They didn't have Waze. Those days, people, nowadays, we don't think. We just follow the machines. Those days, they actually had to think, you know. They didn't just rely on the machine's knowledge.
They didn't have machine.
They think on their own. If they wanted to know what the weather's going to be like, they looked at the sky, they studied it, and they thought.
Sundial.
Like, you know, we used to do years ago. We used to use maps, right? So you had to figure it out. Now, I don't think if you show a child a map, he'll know what it is, B'chal. It's an ancient piece of work. It's probably will be in a museum soon.
You used to go to AAA, you're going out of the cave. You remember? You on a trip, you used to go to the cave. They take out the map,
Yeah. Sifi Dalad, Al Rebbe explains the difference between the ner we light on Matzah Shabbos and the ner you light on Meitzah Yom Kippur. There are different reasons behind it. Sifi Dalad, Orishitzu Meitzah Shabbos Meitzah Avanim, a light which you created on Matzah Shabbos. You struck a match, a new light. After Shabbos, even this was not lit on throughout the whole durance of Shabbos. Like in Kippur, people have a ner Shabbos which is lit from before Yom Kippur, and it's resting the whole Shabbos. You didn't light it the whole Shabbos.
Imagine.
Shenivra atom chodosh. It's created now from a new. Mevarach alav, you make a bracha on it. She'ein mevarach ala or ala zeicha shenivra or meitzay Shabbos me'avanim shekishin adam arishin zubazu. Because we only make a bracha. The reason why we make a bracha on meitzay Shabbos is to remind ourselves that adam arishin Matzah Shabbos, the light that was shining during the 7 days of creation was gone. The Oyer Shivas Imebreshis. And now he was on his own. It was a dark world. It was nighttime. During the 7 days of creation, there was a light, even at night, he was able to see. The first time he was struck with darkness from Matzah Shabbos. And then he made the discovery, you strike two racks together, you could create fire. So that's when the first time there was a fire in this world. Mitzoyim Kippur, we only make a bracha on the light which actually rested throughout Yom Kippur. It was lit Erev Yom Kippur, and the whole Yom Kippur was a yardside licht which you left and you didn't touch. And Erev Shabbos, that's the one you make Motzei Shabbos. Exact opposite. If you lit it Motzei Shabbos, on Motzei Yom Kippur, you can't make the bracha. Can't make the bracha. You have to make a bracha on a yardside. One that was here from Erev Yom Kippur. Because you want to show that Yom Kippur is different than any other Yom Tov. Every other Yom Tov, you're allowed to light candles and cook. Yom Kippur is unique Yom Tov, which is like Shabbos. It's a Yom Tov. But it's not the 7 day of the week, it's not Shabbos. But it's similar to Shabbos in the fact that you can't light. So how do we show that? You show I had a candle a whole Shabbos, I couldn't light, I had to use a candle lit from before in order I should have light on Shabbos and Yom Kippur. So I show that that's the Kedusha of Yom Kippur is different. So it's a totally different reason. And therefore in Hilchos Yom Kippur, there's a whole siman to discuss these halachas, what constitutes an Erev Shabbos. Can I use my pilot light? You know, it's also an Erev Shabbos, right? And it wasn't lit to be an Erev Lahoyer, it has to be an Erev was lit to give light. There are discussions in Hilchos Yom Kippur. Right? There wasn't an Erev Lahoyer. So, if you need, maybe you could take another candle that's lit in Lahoyer and put it together. Now what about coals? Can I make a bracha on coals? Sif Tezvav. Gicholam habayres kol kach. Coals which are very hot. To the point shilo machnis kisim b'neihem. If one puts a twig in between, unidlak, it lights up. Mevarch aleim, those coals, you can make a bracha. However, these coals have to be made kedei lahoyer, they're here for giving off light. I'm assuming these coals were made there by the fireplace. They're here to warm yourself up next to it. Even on a ner itself, not even coals, on an actual fire itself, we don't make a bracha unless it was created in order to give off light. If it was created to give off heat, it's not constitute. That's not what Adam Rishon did with it. He didn't come to warm himself next to the fire. He did it for lahoyer, to give himself light.
As you said before, the Metzias, what's the reason you're doing it? The Kavanah, it seems like it's putting together, it's Mekusher, the Kavanah for the light itself. The light, it's not even the exact same light from two. We don't say you should write it from two stones. We don't say you should do it the exact same way. But the light itself is the same thing. If you're having Kavanah, that flame is for the light, why should there be a chiluk between why it was done? It's not the Maisa. We're not having the light, the Maisa making the flame. Yeah, there's because of Avodah Zarah and some other things, there's some things implemented. But the Metzias of the light, which you want used for the light, why shouldn't that be enough?
I hear you. Good kasha. Maybe the zeicher is in the actual fire itself, and when you do it, you want to do it. The Zeicher is not that it was stones. The Zeicher was the creation of fire. I have fire through a gas stove. I can create fire a lot of other ways. So I can create fire different ways. But that doesn't make a difference because I have fire. The Zeicher is that I created fire. You want, but now the fire should be the fire that was higher, like Adam Rishon. It should be doime. It doesn't have to be doime and.
You're saying good because it's a whole mitzvah. A part of it is the zeicher. It won't become, no matter what. If it's done that way, it won't be. We're concerned it won't be like a zeicher. It's only zeicher if it's done for the whole mitzvah of the gzeira or the din that should be a zeicher has to be for the or. If it's not done anything, you're missing the etzem reasoning of what it is. It's no longer. It's not. We're not looking at the chetz of the age. We're looking at the zeicher of the age. Because it's the zeicher of what the age is.
I'm not sure. The emes is I'm not sure what does it mean osi lahoyer. Because maybe pshat is that it's not like coals are not.
Seems that way if it was.
Look in Sif Tazayin. Look in Sif Tazayin. Oyer shel kivshon, the light of a furnace. In the furnace, they would burn. They would make bricks. So it wasn't made for light; it was made for making bricks. In Varachim, you're not allowed to make a brach on the outset. After the bricks were made already, then it was made lahayr. You make a brach on it. What's the shot in that?
It means that again.
Change the kavanah.
No, it's saying what you.
When the levanim burn, you're allowed to make a bracha. If they're starting when they're white, you're not allowed to make a bracha. And it's right,
There's a new fire coming out now. The new fire already, after the bricks are made already, the new fire which is being made inside right now is now not done for that.
It's a new fire?
Yeah, you have to say now it's a new fire. It's developing from the coals. The coals itself, you can't even use it if it's that. But now the new fire is a result of the coals. Now that new fire is done from the hot.
I don't know. I hear it. I don't know. I'm going to talk about this a lot now. Sif Yitzayi, Ner Shabbos HaKnesses, B'Yimeyim, Ayivarchel Olav. Oh, a Ner in Shul, you're allowed to make a brach on it. It's not your Ner. The Shul has candles lit. Why are you allowed to make a brach? Because sometimes people would make a brach on it. Because if there was a chash of a person staying in the shul for Shabbos, it was made for him to be able to see what he's doing. Or if the shamash of the shul, he eats in the room off the side of the shul. His windows are open to the shul. The ner which is in the shul was made that he should have the ability to see. If the moonlight is not shining over there for him, so the candlelight, he uses the candlelight from the shul. And if no one is using this light, so the light was using like the cover, like people light on a stender. You light when you daven, you light a candle. The lighting of the candle is not meant lahoyer to give off light, it's meant as a cover. A cover to the Shekhinah, that you can't make a bracha on it. The ficha, therefore, achshav she'ein lana orchim beis haknesses. These days we don't have guests in shul, staying in shul. V'lei shamesh ha'oichel shem, we don't have necessarily a gabbai who's eating there. Ein mevarach al ner shebeis haknesses, you don't make a bracha on the ner in shul. V'oi she'achshav da'kein lahadaf beis haknesses afilu b'yoyim mishul kavod shchina. Nowadays we have the custom, even during the daytime, to light candles in shul, b'shul kavod shchina. Therefore, even when you light at night and you make it lohoyer, you still don't make a bracha on it because there's an aspect of kavod to it also. However, if they lit in shul night and day, but night you lit extra few candles because you wanted to be more light in the shul, so people should be able to see where they're going. So then you could make a bracha because those extra natives are there lahoyer.
Then they have electric. Nobody put ner in the shul.
Yudches. Im varich al ner shel meis kishemitzinois lekvur meitzoi Shabbos. Is someone who was Rahman al-San Nifter, and he lit candles for him. And he was a chasha person, so he lit candles for him. You can't use that ner and make a bayrim areish on that ner. Imumeis chasha was a chasha meish yiloy mekameis b'yim, even if they would have buried him by daytime, but you gam kim mitzin ner lefanam l'chvaydi. They would also light candle for him during the daytime. Shenimsen ezeh shemitzin lefanam mitzay Shabbos, and also b'shvil l'hoyer b'vad. Because even by daytime, you would have lit a light for him. If the mace is not so chashiv, so therefore why are you lighting a ner? Not because it's covered in the mace, not such a chashiv a mace. You're lighting because you want to see where you're going. Then you make a bracha on it. So if you test Suma, a blind person, a blind person does not make a bracha because he needs to have enough from it. He doesn't have any enough from it. Without the permission. For people were sitting in shul. But you say Shabbos, and they brought before them light. You don't need to make a bracha everyone on their own, a separate bayrim ereish. Ella kol echad mevarich, one of them makes a bracha. V'kul m'shemim yotzin nechivas, and everyone hears. Just like when the Havdoloh makes. One he makes, the one who makes Havdoloh, and everyone listens. They don't have to each make their own bayrim ereish. Even if they would each make a bracha on their own, they could just say it quickly and go back to their learning. But now they need to gather together and hear one person making a bracha. They're all sitting in shul learning. Someone brought an air to shul, so if they each on their own made their own bracha, or they make the bracha and go back to learning. But if they all make it together, so it's mevatel the learning. You have to wait till everyone's quiet. Shah, stille. We're going to make the bracha now. And everyone waits. You have another hiddur, because Beroiv Am has a smelach, he's doing the mitzvah together in a bigger unit. Someone has a ner underneath his jacket, he's holding the candle over there. Since it's hidden, you can't make a bracha on it. You can't have benefit from there, it's hidden. Even if you could see the light coming from it, but you can't see the actual flame. What happens the ner is in that corner over there. And I'm standing here, I don't see the candle, but I see the light coming from it. Can I make a bracha on the light, or I have to go there? He can't see He's standing on the side, he can't see the flame. Even you could use and benefit from the light. You have to wait till you can actually see the flame. If the ner is in a glass, behind the glass, like a yard site licht or something else, you could see the flame from through the glass. He could make a bracha on it. In the parentheses, Alter Rebbe brings out a sheet which tells Yishchol no, even if it's through a glass, you can't make a bracha.
How ner can be with flame under his chekel? You cannot take a ner, put it here with a flame.
I don't know.
I don't know how they do that.
I don't know. I hear you.
Take a ner, you put a flame and you put it here.
One of those a fireman, a fireman does it. You know, it's flame proof.
Okay.
Stone.
I don't know. It's a good kasha.
I don't even why they bring it. It's not normal.
Dangerous.
Anyway.
Nowadays, when they give like Twitter, you always like, no matter who it is, you make sure Twitter makes you light it. At that time,
It was expensive.
At that time, everything was like the Rebbe said. Why don't singles who aren't married light a candle? It was just so expensive. Everything else had lost
Right.
the thing. Here too, in the stomach, they had to be everyone's cautious. But
I'm all, just like electricity, right? People have to pay electricity bills, right? Today's candles nothing. Today's candles nothing. You buy a candle, right? Candles then was like a commodity. It's an item that you have. That's a chazal from the chayiv that you have to buy in their Shabbos. Even though it's expensive, you have to buy it in the Shabbos. Don't think you can choose to sit in the dark in the Shabbos. Natus was an item like you're going to buy bread. You're going to buy natus. It was something, a function of that.